All right, Miss Brianna Castillo, the Realtor extraordinaire. I have a question for you. Somebody asked me, and I gave them my answer, but I don't do this, so you do. How do you negotiate inspection items on an as-is home? What is your interpretation? What's your answer? I'll tell you mine as soon as you go and tell me all your thoughts, and I'll tell you if I agree or disagree.
The great question and the common question, because the contract, the Trek contract says you mark that you're purchasing this as is, or you mark that they're going to make specific repairs that we're agreeing upon at the time of contract.
So
Okay.
at the time, and just to be clear, TREC, for those that don't know, it's the Texas Real Estate Exchange Commission. So if you're outside of Texas, you're going to use a different form. But the contract, you're saying I'm buying the house. I'm no longer mortgage mark. I'm the guy buying the house. You're telling me at the time of I'm submitting my offer, I want to buy this home, I have to check one of those two boxes.
Yes. And I will tell you, in like the past 500 houses I've sold, 498 of them have been checked as is.
Really?
Yes. So lots of people, the people who really read the contract will see that and say, wait a second, I thought we're going to be able to have an inspection. I thought we were going to be able to negotiate. And I'll say, yes, that is correct. That is what I told you. All we're doing is we're not pre-negotiating any repairs. In Texas, you will have an option period. The option period is a negotiated amount of time in which the buyer has the unrestricted right to terminate from this contract. And all they'll lose is their option fee, which is typically, depending on the price point of the home, give or take $500. Okay.
I said 1 to 300, normal 500 for a bigger home. True or false for the option fee? Am I too low in today's market?
No, I 100, no way. Minimum 250, probably 500. I just put a 2.2 house under contract this week.
We're bunny trailing that. That's my fault. That's my fault. But anyway, the option money in Texas, 10-day option period. So during those 10 days, as the buyer, I can think, let's just say you as somebody as a buyer can then decide if they want to move forward or not based on information found in said inspections.
Right. And so I don't want somebody to hang on to 10 days. It's a negotiated amount of time. In our current market, 7 days is appropriate, but 5 to 10 days would be pretty average, depending on the market. You as the buyer have the leverage because you have the unrestricted right to terminate. The seller does not. You do. This is what we're going to do our further due diligence. And if we uncover issues that we need to negotiate, we're going to do it then. Okay. Now, so that's number one, as is interpretation. Number two, as is interpretation is when in the MLS description, it states cash only, as is. That is a seller upfront just telling you, I'm not making any repairs. This is as is. Either we can't afford to make repairs, we don't want to make repairs. This house needs
that's them giving you
repairs.
That's them giving you the middle finger in advance, saying, don't even ask, I ain't doing it.
That's truly when most people hear as is, that's what they mean. That's what they think. That's what they're thinking of. But majority of contracts actually say as is on the contract. Okay.
What it really means is, and I'm gonna interpret this, and you tell me if I'm right. As is really just means that once again, you got the option period, that 5 to 10 days, whatever's negotiated for days. After that option period, everybody agrees whether you extend the option period based on what's needed. But eventually, once everybody settles on it, that's what it means for as is. It's not something that has to be done later on, correct? Am I making that up?
Yeah.
Did I word that correctly? Or am
I don't know. I'm not sure that I.
Here's how you guys know this is unedited. I don't mind sounding dumb. It's still going to show up in the video. But the point is, as is means that's how you enter it. During the option period, you get to negotiate, and the sellers can say, no, thank you, you're out. And then you as a buyer can then decide, well, shoot, I'm backing out of this thing because I don't like what I found during that 10 days. Or in my example of the option 10-day period.
Yes, but I'm going to add on to this. This scenario, like what everybody expects for as is, what they think we're talking about when we say as is, right? So seller says, hey, this is as is. Maybe they're saying cash only. They're trying to communicate up front. I'm not making any repairs, okay? So when you're in that situation, you should be prepared that the seller is going to say no to repairs. That's what they're trying to tell you up front. Does that mean that you're not going to have an option period? Well, you're going to have to rely on your realtor to know what kind of a market you're in and whether you need to forgo an option period or not. It doesn't mean you don't need that you can't have an option period. I could go and say, yeah, I want to buy this house that they're they're marketing as is, I'm still going to have an option period, and I'm still going to do an inspection and my due diligence. Because there could be something really major. I need to know about that. I need my right out, but I'm not expecting to go back to the seller to negotiate on any of
And
these.
a
Like
good
we're
example too that I use is for I bought my old house that I bought was a bank owned property. The banks say as is, like they truly mean it. Like they ain't doing squat. It can
yeah.
be foundation issues. They're just not doing it. So there are, to your point, and the sellers may say cash buyer as is, whatever. Again, everything's negotiable. If you get an option period, you can just give them the opportunity to say, I truly mean it. Go away, and you
Yes,
keep
well said.
right.
Well
You
said. Yes.
all right,
Give them
cool.
the opportunity to see if they actually meant as is or not, or if they want to make this happen and move forward.
The big lesson to learn from this is I'm not a licensed real estate agent, so you shouldn't listen to my answers about anything real estate. I'm kidding. I'm close, but usually this one I was off on this one for sure. I interpret it as is the way that it sounds like normal people interpret it. But you have it here from a fantastic realtor. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.